experiencing the natural and manipulating ways of the Druid Craft Tarot deck. Something has to be put down for something to be picked up. Now is the time to make careful consideration of your art. Make the proper presentation, even when you are the only person to witness. Do things, even if you don't think that you can witness what's going to happen with them. You may have to leave some behind. And the reflection on what you do should inform you as to what to do next. And there are relationships to affirm in sacred connection. There can be a splitting of these things. Because of relating to the male principle in a way that is not conducive to the contest. And plots, our plans, whatever you want to call them, can be overturned. And sometimes you need to gather in secret. But be careful of your placement, right? There is someone that has been calling for a sense of justice and seeing the patterns of the owl, of the illumination of the strange structures of consciousness. But there are still things to keep at bay. Some structures that have not been separated from. Work that still must be done. And we approach this sacred art from different directions. Let us maintain its sacredness. And don't let feelings and emotions overturn us. As we affirm the feminine principle, we have goals that are aeonic, as you could say. Ones that go past any sense of change. That start upon a military way are form a support of the actions that must be done. We've been through a lot, but we have earned, for the sake of our portion of society, we must still hold up our defense. With the secret ways of the pact that we form in what may seem to be illusion and delusion. We can't promise that there won't be material defeat. That joy will always be connected with our liberating thoughts, words, and deeds. But we must convey of the message. It may seem like it's not going to work. But it counts in a way that can't be taken from us. For this body and our mind is but a vessel. Duality is a vessel in which there are things that are other than us there with us. And we haven't quite taken a foothold of our inner life in some respect. Or we have faced some sort of regression. Sometimes that's because we take on too much at once. Other times, it's because we can't identify with or connect to the transcendent. But it's not necessary to reincarnate, to change the intention, to solidify your will, to have perfected the work along the way. The time to be martyred is not here yet. Neither is the horror of experience or consideration of one's own part. We are not so trapped. But we need accomplishment that involves experiencing the disconnection of a careful working Don't worry. For your mind is not so confined as you may think. There are ways that need to be supplemented. Take note of each completion and every fragment of realization. Of the evil that is there to form an influence or take part in what could be considered are placed in an innocent change. Sometimes you need to share of your dreams. Other times, the potential needs a change in environment to come through. Bringing out a spiritual leadership of one's own life may not be so direct, but it will refer to every other thing. And family may not support. And the experiences may not be so practiced or sensed. If you don't want to reflect as much as you could. Now, your childhood is important to process about. And your ideas of the structures that you must work with. May be changed with the shadows that come your way and the partnerships that are lost and the updating and cycling that you haven't quite taken in or been a part of. It seems that, in particular, California is going to be one of those that have to endure some things. Because they're not regarding the different states and stations that go by. But we may begin to get it right in our minds. But we have to consider of the old ways. Sometimes that is not as on the inner as we may think it needs to be. Nar is the excess planning and preparation, always what we should be doing in some particular matter. But we can bring out our true will, our progress on the material plane. But there may be something about our direction that is not quite coming through. Something about the methods that's not being sufficiently enacted. The harvest may fail because we're ignoring the timing. We may not get as far as we need to get in this material world. But is that what defines what is enough? Our strength of character, if that's not enough, then we're not making the progress with our intention. But the choice is ours, and we can have a powerful peace in any category of life, regardless of the external